Chapter 626, Recognition. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Swoosh. As the golden holy sword came down, a layer of holy light appeared on Di's body, causing his skin to flow with light and brilliant colors and become as hard as a holy stone. He was wearing a suit of holy soft leather armor. The holy soft leather armor was a holy defensive treasure that was made from a saint's skin and bones. As long as he wore it, it would lie right next to his skin. When it was attacked, the holy soft leather armor would manifest with great defensive power. When the golden holy sword struck the holy soft leather armor, it was deflected off Di's shoulder. The blow continued, chopping into the Yeti Prince's neck. PFFFT. The holy sword was so sharp that only a level 12 genuine martial arms could stand against it. It sliced through the Yeti Prince's skin and sliced through an artery in his neck. Immediately, blood surged out and dyed the Yeti Prince half red. He grunted and fell back a couple of steps. He quickly activated his genuine chi to seal the blood meridian on his neck, gradually stopping the surging blood. Because the sword chi had entered his body, it was destroying his flesh and meridians. Even a very powerful physique could not heal him at once. Although sealing the blood meridian had stopped the flow of fresh blood, it made the Yeti's neck very stiff. It was very difficult to move his head. Who is it? Who is secretly attacking me? The Yeti Prince roared. His eyes were bloodshot and a powerful sense of evil emanated from his body. Only Di knew that the assassin was trying to kill him, not the Yeti Prince. Only his holy soft leather armor enabled him to dodge this attack. Otherwise, the strike would have killed him. Although the holy soft leather armor had strong defensive powers and had blocked Zhang Yuoquan's golden holy sword, a strong burst of power had still made it through the holy armor and struck Di's body. Di's left arm was completely immobilized, and the left side of his body felt painful and numb. He's even a master of the sword. Red Wish Emissary, just who is your powerful great guardian? Di began to use his genuine chi to recover from his injury. At the same time, Di also became more cautious. He quietly put up his guard, determined to not give his opponent another chance for a surprise attack. Red Wish Emissary was also very surprised. She found it very difficult to believe that the great guardian she had chosen would not only be a master of spiritual power at level 44 but also be a master of the sword who could hurt the Yeti Prince. Who exactly was he? It was not until now that Red Wish Emissary realized that even though she had thought highly of Zhang Yuoquan's power, she had still underestimated him. Thinking back to earlier, Red Wish Emissary thought she had seen the golden holy sword that Zhang Yuoquan had used somewhere before. It seemed very familiar. Suddenly, her entire body trembled as she remembered. Was that golden holy sword not one of the six-hilt divine swords that the Yellow God Emissary had obtained at the Xuanwu inheritance? After the Yellow God Emissary had died, the six-hilt divine sword had been taken by Zhang Yuoquan. Now, how could one of these holy swords have appeared in the Great Guardian's hands? A guess grew in Red Wish Emissary's mind that made her hair stand on end. However, she very quickly shook her head, not daring to think further. She told herself that he had already died and that it was impossible for him to still be alive. Right now, even though she had suspicions in her mind, she had to immediately suppress them and focus all her attention on killing Di. It was a matter of utmost importance. Xihong, I will control the Yeti Prince. You go kill Di. Red Wish Emissary swung the holy crystal staff and once more used her sorcery to create a red light haze that moved toward the Yeti Prince to envelop him. A white gem the size of a human head was embedded on the Yeti Prince's crown. When Red Wish Emissary performed her sorcery, an icy blast of air surged out of the gemstone and entered the center of the Yeti Prince's forehead, allowing him to remain clear-headed. The white gemstone was a holy item from the Yeti tribes. It was said to be a holy crystal jade. Not only could it stop the body from decaying, but it could also guard a monk's consciousness and soul. Although the giant spirit wrath skill that the Yeti Prince practiced was very powerful, the explosive rage that came with it could cause warriors to lose their rationality very easily. It could even cause anger that attacked the heart. Thus, he wore the holy crystal jade on his person. He had not thought that it would become Red Wish Emissary's kryptonite. The sorcery that Red Wish Emissary wielded had no effect on the Yeti Prince. However, Xu Hong's attack had greatly restrained him. Di Yi knew that there was still a powerful figure in the darkness that could strike him a fatal blow at any moment. Thus, he did not hesitate to shatter the jade amulet. The shattered jade amulet became a column of light that flew toward the sky, connecting the earth to the heavens. In the inky dark night, it was particularly striking. The Red Wish emissary laughed coldly. Di Yi, who would have thought that you would be so panicked? How come you have already sent out the signal for Half-Saint Yuanying to come rescue you? Di Yi was very composed. He huffed coldly and said, Yi Hongilai, you have colluded with the traitor Sylvan Moon to harm the emissaries and the young master of the Black Market Excellence Hall. If this was known by the Council of Elders, do you know how you would die? Red Wish emissary smiled and said, as long as you die, even if the Council of Elders knew that I used some ruthless methods, the Yi family and their master would still be able to protect my life. In the end, I will still become the new young master. Thus, the losers are always in the wrong. Dead people have no right to speak. A powerful rage grew in Di Yi. If Zhang Yuochen had not been hiding in the shadows and threatening him at every moment, he would have immediately charged out and ground the Red Wish emissary's bones to dust. The Red Wish emissary's two dark eyebrows rose slightly, and she smiled. Di Yi, you don't have to keep waiting. Before I made a move, I had already sent a message to the Half-Saint of the Yi family to have him restrain Half-Saint Yuanying. Di Yi's protector was Half-Saint Yuanying, while the Red Wish emissary's protector was a Half-Saint of the Yi family. In theory, people of the Half-Saint level could not interfere in the battle between the Red Wish emissary and Di Yi. But, Half-Saints could counterbalance each other. The Yi family was also a well-favored family in the black market and possessed great influence. It was because of this that the Red Wish emissary's ambition grew until she wanted to steal the young master's position. If the Red Wish emissary could use the power of the Yi family, she could also summon large numbers of masters in the fish-dragon realm. It was a pity that families could not directly interfere in battles for the young master's position. They could only rely on the charms and methods of the younger generation of warriors to summon troops, buy horses, arrange troop formations, and contend for intelligence and power. Only the person who won in the end had the right to be the young master. Swoosh! In the darkness, Golden Sword Radiance appeared once again, even more powerful than before. It extended a sword radiance over 40 feet, and it shot toward Di Yi's spine. However, his holy soft leather armor would still able to stop the tip of the sword from piercing his body. But if a powerful force slammed into the sacred meridian in his spine, Di Yi could still be severely injured. Di Yi had been on his guard for a long time. In the split second that the sword radiance shot out, he kicked off with both feet and shot down from the Yeti Prince's shoulder. The golden holy sword struck the holy soft leather armor near his neck. Sparks flew out. Boom! Di Yi's feet landed on the ground, and he immediately fled into the night. Zhang Yuochen's body appeared, exploding forward with extreme speed. He quickly caught up to Di Yi. He once again swung his golden holy sword with a long golden sword radiance. Di Yi felt the aura of danger and quickly turned his body. His hands bent into claws, and he used Hellghost King Claw. When the claws appeared, the whistling of the wind immediately rang out for 3 kilometers. It sounded like the crying of demons. Hellghost King Claw consisted of 36 strokes. It was a very advanced martial technique. At this moment, Di Yi's long hair was loose, and his fingers had become twice their length. The nail on each finger was unusually sharp, as if he had become a true ghost king. Boom, boom. The claws and the golden holy sword slammed together quickly and formed energy ripples. The collision sent sand and rocks flying. The ghost wind shrieked and sword chi glowed. Suddenly, the sword technique that Zhang Yuochen was using became much stronger. It pierced Di Yi's claws and sliced into his throat. Even though he still had his holy soft leather armor, Di Yi's throat could not endure power of the holy sword. As it was pierced, Di Yi gasped and blood filled his mouth. Di Yi's claws grasped the blade of the sword tightly, preventing it from piercing further. At the same time, his body was retreating rapidly to minimize the impact of the holy sword. Zhang Yuochen moved even faster. His arm and the holy sword maintained their balance, pushing against Di Yi's neck. The tip of the sword sank down relentlessly. Even the holy soft leather armor could not stop the holy sword's attack. Di Yi, even holy soft leather armor cannot save your life. Zhang Yuochen's eyes were sharp and murderous. Seeing the eyes under the mask, Di Yi's expression froze as if he had seen something unbelievable. Shortly after, a raspy voice came from his mouth. I know who you are. Di Yi sank to his knees and stopped retreating. He steadied his body and allowed the holy sword to pierce down. Swoosh! Di Yi's arms swung out at the same time, striking out with two sharp claws. He aimed for Zhang Yuochen's head and abdomen. He used this move so that he could die with his enemy. Zhang Yuochen knew that Di Yi was a heartless, saintly being with an immortal body. Thus, he did not struggle with him. Instead, he immediately retracted his sword and quickly retreated. Although Di Yi had forced Zhang Yuochen to retreat, the golden holy sword had still left a deep mark on his throat. Under the holy soft leather armor, a deep, bloody hole gaped in Di Yi's neck. Any other monk would certainly never have been able to fight again, even if they managed to survive. Di Yi was very calm. Standing where he was, he stared directly at Zhang Yuochen across from him. With a strange smile and a shattered voice, he said, Zhang Yuochen,